Good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Ready or not, let's do this. This is a ridiculously early morning webinar to get your day started off right, whether you're ready for it or not. There's a little bit of mindset, a little bit of business sense, something for your MLM, network marketing, small business, brick and mortar. Get it up and running like a well-oiled machine, whether it's online or off. Whether you are a newbie, a seasoned veteran, or somewhere in between, there's something here for you. Welcome. My name is Mina. I'm coming to you from New York City, out in the borough of Queens. I created this webinar series to push myself out of my comfort zone and to share with you my experiences and what I'm learning as I'm currently growing my business online, with hopes that you learn alongside with me. Let's grow into success together. How are you doing today, folks? Today is Thursday, February 5th. It's actually 9:30 in the morning Eastern time, and it is about 2 hours ahead of what I usually do, of how I start my early morning webinar. And I've been out for 2 days because I've been recuperating from a cold, but I am better now and I'm back with a vengeance. I actually missed doing these webinars, so I know it's now deeply ingrained with me that I need to get up in the morning and provide these valuable webinars for you today. I actually had a funny morning this morning because I was going to do this webinar from my bed using my little laptop, but the lighting just did not work, and you would have just seen a dark blob. So I just got out of bed and came here and sat in front of the computer, and here I am. I feel great. It's great to be here again with you. So for today's mindset moment, this webinar always has two portions. There's a mindset moment and there is a business sense moment. So I am going to share with you the mindset moment, and then I will share with you the business sense moment. And the mindset moment for today, Thursday, February 5th, is the power of never giving up. And I'm going to tell you a story that I found in this book by Joyce Meyer. It's called Never Give Up. And the story is about Bessie Coleman. Bessie Coleman is the first woman, the first American woman to earn an international pilot's license, the first American woman. And she's very unique in many ways. This was in the 1920s. When she was a child, she always dreamed of becoming a pilot, of flying airplanes. But she had some things, some challenges, some obstacles stacked against her. First of all, she was African American and lived in a time where American flight schools did not teach African American women to fly. Secondly, she didn't have the means, because to become a pilot required a lot of funding, a lot of money. But she did not let those dreams, she did not let those obstacles stop her. She grew up in Atlanta, Texas, which was a small town. And as soon as she was old enough, around 23, she moved to Chicago to be nearer to her brothers, where she worked as a manicurist in a barber shop. And as she worked there, she listened to stories of World War I pilots and their adventures flying those airplanes. And as she heard those stories, her dream just got bigger and bigger. The desire to become a pilot became bigger. And eventually she met two influential businessmen who wanted to fund her so she could get training, excuse me, to become a pilot. Sorry. Sorry, excuse me. So what did she have to do? Well, as she was working as a manicurist, she was also learning how to speak French, because obviously, since she could not train in America, she had to move to Paris. And in order to move to Paris, she had to learn French. She had to learn to speak the language. So she learned how to speak French. She moved to Paris. She learned how to fly. She became a pilot. And when she returned to America, she became a media sensation. One of the people who funded her was a newspaperman who thought that her story would be great for business. And it was so. When she returned to America, she became very famous because people of all races embraced her. They embraced her because she was vivacious, she had a lot of gusto, and she did not let anything stop her from achieving her dreams. She fulfilled her dream, and she did a lot of air shows, and she was invited to a lot of important functions because of who she was, but furthermore, because she never gave up. Unfortunately, Bessie Coleman, or Queen Bess, she died in an airplane crash. Something, they think it was because there was a wrench left in the gears of her airplane. But even at her funeral, her presence, her energy was so engaging and so infectious to say, but in a good way, that 10,000 people attended her funeral. That is the reach that she had, Bessie Coleman. So what can we learn from this story? Well, the power of never giving up. Bessie Coleman had a desire, she had a dream, she had a potential that needed to be, she had an untapped potential that needed to be, she had a potential that needed to be tapped into. And that dream, that desire of her becoming a pilot was so strong and was even fueled more as she worked in that manicure, in the barbershop as a manicurist and listening to the stories of World War I pilots. It fueled her dream even more. And I imagine she spoke about her dream and she announced it and she said, I want to be a pilot. And I'm sure that that had touched those two businessmen who decided to support her and fund her dream of becoming a pilot. And she also went through that other obstacle of learning a brand new language so that she could move to Paris. She moved to Paris by herself in a foreign country, speaking a foreign language to pursue her dream. So she didn't let these following obstacles stop her. She didn't let the fact that she didn't have the money to train. She didn't let that stop her. She didn't let the fact that American pilot schools at that time in the 1920s did not train African-American females to become pilots. She didn't let that stop her. She found a way around that. She moved to Paris, France. So that is the power of never giving up. That is the power of not giving into your fears. So what is a fear? I learned from my friend Linda Cargill Self that fear is just the need for more information. You fear something because you don't know a lot about it. You need to get more information about it. You need to get more information about whatever you fear about. For example, fear of the phone. Why is it that you have a fear of the phone? Do you fear that the person on the other end is going to reject you or they're going to say bad things to you? In order to get over that fear of the phone, you just have to do it. You have to pick up the phone and make phone calls. And I did that. I did that in 2013. I learned that your fear is where your success lies. So I realized I have to overcome my fear of the phone so that I could have more success in life. And that's exactly what I did. I did cold calls, which is a beast. It is not fun. But you learn that the person on the other end of the line is just a person. And you don't know what that person is going through. That person could have had a bad day. And you also learn not to take things personally, because if they say something to you and they shout at you and they hang up on you, it's not you, it's them, whatever they're going through, something that you don't take personally. So that is how I eventually overcame my fear of the phone. And now I have no problem picking up my phone and calling people. Although cold calling is yuck. I don't like cold calling. Nobody likes cold calling, but it's a good way to get over your fear of the phone. So last night I was on an amazing webinar with the co-founder of My Lead System Pro. And his name is Brian Finale. And he gave us a little bit a peek into his personal experiences of his life and what was the one thing that clicked in him to move forward and build a multi-million-dollar business. And it is that there's greatness in you. And that's what he says. There is something great that is in you. Each and every person that is watching this webinar right now or watching a replay of this webinar, you have something great in you. It's untapped, but you have it in you. You have a dream that you want to fulfill. If you're tired of just going to a job day in and day out and not really getting anywhere, but you have a dream you want to fulfill, you can fulfill that dream. How badly do you want it? Do you want it as badly as Bessie Coleman? She wanted it really bad, and she achieved it. Imagine if you put all the effort that you can into fulfilling your dream, what you can achieve. And you can do it in baby steps. You might be saying, well, I work a full-time job. When do I have time to fulfill my dream? There are people who do that. They work their full-time job to pay the bills so that they can eat. But on the side, they're building their dreams. Maybe you want to be a painter and have a gallery for paintings being shown. You can start small. You can be working your full-time job and then open your own Etsy shop, which is a great online resource for people who do things handmade and sell vintage things. And you can sell your paintings on there. And in the same time, you could be promoting your paintings via social media on the times that you are not working. Things like that. Or you like to write. You can set up a blog while you are working during the day to pay your bills. You can be writing your blog at night and sharing your blog on social media. Just doing little baby steps to fulfill your dreams. And if you have this fear, well, what are people going to think about it? Really, it's not, how can I say, conquer it little by little, okay? Doing this webinar, you can face a lot of fears of what people are going to think. I don't have any makeup on, but I do have a message to convey. So I learned from Ray Higdon that it is selfish to hold that message in and not share it with the world because you fear what people are going to think. You want everything to be perfect. There's something wrong with this, there's something wrong with that. Even the challenges that I faced this morning trying to set up this webinar, trying to do it from my own room, trying to do it in bed, but the lighting just did not work because I want you to see me clearly so you can see me eye to eye. I said, okay, I'm just going to get out of bed and sit in front of my computer and do it. But that was those little mini challenges. I could have easily have given up and decided, no, I'm not going to do it today. But I realized, no, I don't want this to die. So each and every one of us has challenges that we face. I hear you, I get you. But try to overcome it little by little. Even the smallest thing that you can do to move and advance in front towards your dream works. There's a Tanzanian proverb that says this: little by little, a little becomes a lot. Little by little, a little becomes a lot. So little things that you can do each and every day becomes a lot and becomes a big snowball effect in the long run. So what is the minimum you can do to build your dream? It could be, if you're a writer or you're a blogger, to write 500 words a day. And I learned that from Jeff Goff, who is a blogger. It could be, like I said, if you're a painter and you have artwork that you want the world to see, create your own Etsy shop and showcase your paintings. And it's not very expensive. And share it across social media. Etsy has all those tools in place for you to do that and get people to know you. And even set up your blog and just talk about your paintings. Or even do YouTube channels or webinars like this and talk about your paintings. Things like that. But don't let fear stop you. Remember, fear is only the need to get more information. Get more information and find out how you can do things better and how you can reach your dream. So that is the mindset portion of this webinar. And now I'm going to go into the business sense portion. And the business sense portion is inspired by an article I found on fastcompany.com. And it is how to be a stellar storyteller. How to stand in front of a room and tell a stellar story. And so there's 5 steps to that. Let me look at my notes. Now, I imagine when I was telling you the story of Bessie Coleman, you were riveted. Well, I'm not going to say riveted, but your attention was piqued because I was telling you a story. And our life revolves around stories. And if you want to engage people and you want people to pay attention to what you say, put it in a story format. Tell a story. Well, tell a story about your experiences. People like that. I like to watch a lot of YouTubers, and I like to study them, especially fashion YouTubers. And what I see and what they say is that they can do a video on how to do a certain type of makeup application, or something they bought at a store or a makeup haul. But what they find more success and what resonates more with people is when they do a vlog. And what is a vlog? Which is pretty much a video blogging type thing where they share parts of their daily life. They do like a weekly vlog and they show you maybe 2 or 3 days of their life. And people like that. And I do like that. I enjoy watching people vlogging. And one blogger says that she enjoys doing her vlogs. And she says she receives less hate on her vlogs than she does on her other videos. Like she has 2 different channels. She has her beauty channel and then she has a vlogging channel. And she gets more feedback, positive feedback on her vlogging channel than on her beauty channel. And you start to think, why? Well, because people resonate more with your life, your daily life activities. They love stories, they love experiences. So storytelling is pretty epic. So here are 5 steps to become a stellar storyteller. And the first one is to realize you're never up there alone. Don't become a talking head and recant like lists here and there, thinking that you're wasting people's time. No, people are there with you. You're not there alone, because if you make it, instead of just becoming a talking head, but you make it a conversation, people are there with you. You're having a conversation with people. So that's the first step to stellar storytelling. Think of it as having a conversation with people. Number 2 is to decide where you want to end up and work backwards from there. So what is the culmination? What is the end result of what you want in telling the story? What is the moral of the story you want to give? And you want to start from there. What is the message you want to leave with your audience? And that is how you can plan out your story, because you want to have a message with your audience. It could be that you always have a second chance. It could be to never give up. It could be to fear is only the need for more information. The first thing you have in mind is what line you want to land on. What is the moral of your story? So that's number 2. Number 3, create an emotional connection. And, I'm telling you the story about Bessie Coleman. There is an emotional connection there. You realize she's got dreams, you've got dreams. To create an emotional connection, you need to find a way to arrive at your message using real life experiences to tell your story. So I gave you some real life experiences of my little challenges. It was tiny little challenges this morning. Find a way to pull at the heartstrings of your audience. Zero in on those moments in your life when your emotions were ramped up. So try to pull at the heartstrings of your audience. Try to bring in some emotion to that story. Makes the story more engaging. You want to recreate that moment for your audience. So create that emotional connection. That's number 3. Number 4 is to vary your pace. You have like certain inflection with your voice. You could slow down some areas where the story is most juiciest and kind of like lead your audience along the way. And then you can go through other parts of the story where you speed up the pace. That is to vary your pace. That's number 4, vary your pace. I'm looking at my notes. And number 5, get to know the sound of your voice. So this tip is really interesting because I think everybody, myself included, we don't like to hear the sound of our voice when we record ourselves. But this tip is essential. It says here, before writing anything down, record yourself telling your story as you would in casual conversation. And once you record yourself, listen to the recording and jot down the moments that you liked from that recording and that you particularly like. And it says here, and this is by Kevin Allison, put together a script based on how you speak rather than starting from how you write. So recording your voice is the only way to hear how you sound. Our voices sound like musical instruments when we tell stories. And when you record yourself, when you use a recording, when you use a recording device, you become more comfortable hearing your own voice, and then you can work with that to create stellar stories. Who is Kevin Allison? Well, Kevin Allison tells an experience he had when he was first talking in front of an audience. He had his speech prepared, And as he started his speech, his mind went totally blank. He didn't remember the next line, and he felt really bad and he felt embarrassed. So the only reaction he had was to bolt, to run from the room. So as he tried to run out of the room, the audience said, "Don't stop, keep going." And what happened was that he was body surfed back up to the stage. So I think they stopped him, they lifted him, and they moved him back to the stage. Imagine that moment. So he was forced to continue. But that was quite the experience. And that's how he learned that the audience is with you. You are not alone. So he gave these 5 tips on how to create, how to tell a stellar story in front of a room of people. So remember, number 1, you're never up there alone. Number 2, decide where you want to end up and work backwards from there. Number 3, create an emotional connection. Number 4, vary your pace. And number 5, listen to your own voice. Get used to the sound of your own voice so that you become comfortable with that and that you can keep on working on becoming a really effective and stellar storyteller. So we've come to the end of our webinar. I want to thank you for stopping by on Rise and Shine, Ready or Not, Let's Do This. I will be back tomorrow at our regularly scheduled time at 7 a.m. Eastern. Same bad time, same bad channel. If you enjoyed what I shared with you today, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, share it with somebody, and leave a comment below on what you would like me to talk about more on these webinar series. Have an amazing Thursday, folks. Thanks again for stopping by. I'll see you tomorrow, Friday, February 6th, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care. Cheers.